Michael Knowles almost gets Graham Stephan canceled when using the word G-A-Y in a derogatory sense. But before we get into that, guys, my name is Ruslan. This channel exists to encourage, empower, and inspire you to live a life that blesses God. If you're new here, or if you're not new here, please make sure you're subscribed, as a huge percentage of the folks that watch this channel, unfortunately, are not subscribed. This is the Blessed God Studios channel, which is a bit too spicy for the main channel, okay? And we reach almost 1 million people. 1 million unique users, and the vast majority of them are not subscribed. So if you can subscribe, hit that like button, all that good stuff. Let's jump into this video. This is from the Iced Coffee Hour. I love the Iced Coffee Hour. I've got a chance to meet Graham Stephan, one of my favorite financial YouTubers, and I am grateful that he is having conversations with people who are a bit more bold in some of their convictions. And here, they try to check Michael Knowles on using the G word.
Yeah, all throughout the podcast, he's using it, actually. So this is actually closer to the end. And they're finally like, all right, we kind of got to address this because he keeps saying things are gay. So he's actually talking about, he was on the Whatever podcast, and Brian, the host, is like, I don't want to get married.
I pressed Brian about the same thing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Brian said he didn't want to get married. So you don't want to get married. That's gay.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Wow.
You know, I'm making this accusation a lot now.
Why do you keep using that term?
I'm like that
guy.
That's a not very inclusive term. You know
It's
that.
very inclusive. There are a lot of gay guys.
Gay?
And so I'm including them.
Why can't you just say you disagree?
Because I
think, like,
disagree,
if-
but specifically I disagree because that view is gay.
Right, but okay, but the problem that I have.
Oh my gosh. Wow, okay.
Wow.
All right.
All right. You know, kicking off Pride Month, right with this video.
Yeah, man.
With calling
Why
something.
are you gay?
Why are you gay? You are gay.
Well,
Like that guy on the Ghana, on the Ghana.
I have a problem, I feel like, with, at least if I'm trying to understand your motive, like your desired outcome of going on these shows and speaking the truth, or whatever, your truth, whatever you want to call it. I don't think it's going to yield good benefit or desired results if you say things are gay in a derogatory way. Because it's not like someone maybe who's gay is going to hear that and they're going to be like, oh, this guy, he thinks all gay people are bad. Or,
Listen,
you know,
I'm an icon of the gay community. You know, I don't.
What?
So what do you think? What do you think of Jack's pushback here?
I mean, he's right to an extent.
It's very fair.
Like, if you're using the word as a placeholder for all things bad,
yeah,
you are going to turn off the community
yes,
of the word that you're using.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Now, but if he's using it not as a placeholder for all things bad, but he's literally saying, hey, the paradigm that you don't want to get married and start a family, that's what gay people do. They don't get married and start families.
No, that's right.
Right?
That's the real
So
term.
if he's being intentional with how he's using the word in terms of like, no, you don't understand. Like, you being a bachelor indefinitely actually makes you practically much closer to a LGTV male.
Wow. Yeah.
Than some beta Andrew Tate. Why would I sign a contract that's opposed to pays the woman to leave?
Yeah.
You're actually more gay. So he's kind of right.
He's kind of right.
You are.
I wouldn't use this as a placeholder to just say like someone's lame. Like, I wouldn't use it in that context. Like that. I don't think that's helpful. Right?
Yeah.
Paul wasn't unmarried. Hold on, slow your roll. Paul, usually we believe that Paul was widowed. That's from church history. I don't know if I would jump out the window and say with certainty that Paul wasn't married, but it doesn't matter because Paul said that the other apostles had wives. In 1 Corinthians chapter 9, go read it for yourself. Paul said specifically that Peter and the other apostles had wives with them. Okay? Someone said lots
and
of...
Brian's not doing ministry.
Yeah, Brian's
Whatever
not doing ministry.
podcast host is not doing ministry.
Yeah, that's another thing is you guys got to understand that he is not making Christian content.
Yeah.
He's approaching this from a worldview standpoint. In terms of lots of gay people start families, not biologically.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Stop it.
You can't. No.
Bad.
No. Chris, that is not what we're going to do. We are not going to pretend that that's the same. It is not the same. You cannot do that. They're not the same. Natural law says they're not the same, but basic biology says it's not the same. Two males cannot start a biological family of their own. That is not the same thing. So let's not pretend and play that game.
All right, let's see Michael Knowles' logic of why
Let's-
he's an
let's hear his
icon in
logic.
the gay community.
All right, let's see.
Bad. Or,
Listen,
you know,
I'm an
like-
icon of the gay community. You know, I don't.
You
think, I
are?
have plenty of friends. Look, I lived in New York. I lived in L.A. I went to the gayest university on
What
planet
university?
Earth, Yale.
Okay.
So they say 1 in 4, maybe more at Yale. You know, and I have a disproportionate number of homosexually identifying friends and people with variously eccentric views. But you know, my view is that we shouldn't recommend LGBT activism. I think that's not a good thing to
Right,
recommend.
but it's not recommending that. It's just like I said, if your desired result is to hopefully find a middle ground where you can both agree on something,
No,
or at
my
least,
desired
or at
result
least-
is to arrive at the truth. That's my desire.
Okay.
He said, middle ground, what do you think this is, Jubilee?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm standing on the Bible right here.
Desired result
But don't you
is
It's
it
not
for
to-
yourself or to help other people arrive at the truth?
for everybody.
But if you're trying to help other people arrive at the truth, calling something gay in a bad way in front of another gay person, I think
No,
look,
I think,
I'm not
I think
even
it's
saying
really good. I think it's really good to do because
I think people they recoil when you attack at like
maybe
their,
you
their-
recoil. I don't think a lot of other people.
I think
do.
a lot of
think
people.
a lot of
I think a
people-
lot of people grew up on the playground saying, "Hey, that shirt's really gay," ha ha ha, and then everybody laughs. I think everybody used this kind of language until 5 minutes ago.
He starts to lose me here. And I'm like, you're going back to like the actual straight derogatory
Yeah,
saying that
now-
something is lame.
Yeah. Now he's actually doing the thing I don't think we should do.
Yeah.
And in no way is it mocking or
No, it-
attack.
Okay. He's losing me. Michael, it's literally mocking.
Yeah.
It's literally saying
That shirt is not cool.
that shirt is not cool, and therefore that shirt is homosexual. If I was to steel man and say there are homosexuals that struggle, like the Christian person struggling with being same-sex attracted, like that's not helpful to that person.
yeah.
And this is someone that may not even like publicly say, or I'm not saying they should come out of the closet or nothing like that. I'm just saying that person, I don't think that's helpful to that person, let alone the person that maybe is confused in the middle ground. I'm struggling with this, but I also may want to be a Christian and suppress my same-sex attraction for the glory of God. There are people like that, right?
I had a friend, a really close friend of mine, that growing up, our friend group always called him gay and roasted him for being a little bit more of a gentle soul than the rest of us boys in the group. And come to find out, he came out as gay and was like, that really hurt my feelings that you guys always called me gay. And I actually was, and it made me struggle even more with this thing. And as Christian, as you guys claim to be Christians, that's not cool. And like he claimed to be Christian as well. But I was like, oh, so then now I had this paradigm of like, I definitely don't say it because you don't know who's like pretending not to be gay, but actually is gay. You know?
Yeah, I think it's unhelpful. I think if he was saying it in the literal sense, which is, hey, this alpha don't sign a contract where the woman's paid to leave, nonsense is actually going to set you up to be of one things, live like a functionally LGTB man that will eventually get a woman pregnant out of wedlock or raise someone else's kids because you will eventually marry someone or have to adopt. Like those are all bad alternatives.
Yep.
And if you're using it in that sense, I could understand that. I could understand an angle.
And not to mention, someone in the chat mentioned he knows what he's doing. Like he's way smarter and way more articulate to just end up at the word gay to describe things. And he was doing it the whole podcast. He was waiting for this moment. He was probably surprised that they didn't address it earlier.
Yeah.
It's like, it took y'all an hour and 42 minutes to finally address me calling things gay the entire podcast.
Yeah.
Like, and this is probably something he's with his writers in the back room or like his friends, or it's like, you know what? There's actually something about culture now that is similar to an LGBT lifestyle. And I want to point it out by using this term, and I'm going to do it on these podcasts. Like, so it's probably way more calculated for sure.
Yeah,
Attacking any people who have kind of eccentric sexual desires or anything like that.
But
I think it's just kind of gay. You
But
know?
even if it alienates,
I think this whole conversation.
But
kinda
imagine
gay.
it alienates 1 or 2% of the audience. Is that worth it?
In
They
this
laughed,
case,
though.
I'm
They laughed there. They
Yeah,
laughed
he
there.
got Jack. He got
He got
Jack to
Jack to
crack.
laugh. He got Jack to crack.
using it in a
Respect.
very specific way and intentionally, much as I would use the word eradicate at my CPAC speech with regard to transgender ideology.
So it's to
I'm
get
using it.
attention.
No. That's what the liberals accused me of, but that's because they have difficulty understanding words. The reason I use the word eradicate there is because I specifically was referring to uprooting an entire ideology, root and branch. And the reason I use gay specifically in this case is one, because it's kind of funny and we've all used it, even though we all politically correctly now pretend that we don't. We're all clutching our pearls. But the other thing, we all pretend that the homosexuals are offended by it. They're not. Homosexuals are outrageous people a lot of the time, and they're men a lot of the time, and they're tough guys. It's like macho man in the Village People. The reason I'm using it specifically here is because gay refers to an entire view of the sexual ethic. A view of the sexual ethic that views men and women as indiscernible and substitutable for one another, and a view of the sexual ethic that is ultimately sterile, that separates means from ends. And so I'm doing that very intentionally.
You're doing using the esoteric way, right?
I don't think that's so esoteric. I think it's playing on the proper meaning of the word, and it's showing people the issue from a perspective that has been kept from them.
But when you just say the word gay,
this is a good take from ML Figueroa in the chat. He said he's playing their triggers against them.
Yeah, so I can make a point.
Not a bad take.
Yeah.
I want to go into the transcript in a second and look at how many times he uses it prior to this moment. But let him cook.
without any context behind it, people are not going to put that meaning the way that you meant it. They're not going to do all the background thinking of, oh, he means it like this, and if you extrapolate to this.
But when I use a word that everyone used until 5 minutes ago, that now the politically correct censors won't let us use, when I use that word, what I am saying is I will not ascribe to your left-wing censorship regime. And you're right, it might put some people off. It'll at least raise their eyebrows, even if they're not offended. I don't think many people are actually offended by it, but it'll raise their eyebrows at least at first. But the consequence of that will be that it will start to crack away at the left-wing censorship regime, which uses a cycle of euphemisms to constantly change the words that we're allowed to use for anything.
I would disagree. I think it would cause a lot of people to check out immediately. They would hear you saying something like this and immediately think, oh, it's one of these guys. Anything he says
my speech has a lot of views on it.
Anything you say after that, then you're going to tune out or not take as seriously as saying, I disagree with the concept of marriage because of this. To me, that sounds a lot more eloquent and a lot more sophisticated than saying, oh,
and understanding, which is, I feel like, the number one thing that you need to be if you're trying to persuade other people.
I think they put cancel culture way too high up on their list of like powers that be, because they're approaching it from the standpoint of like, first of all, he's not always going to be using this term. He's clearly doing this in a season of episodes to make a point. He's not going to get canceled. He's not going to
he can't get canceled.
Yeah, he's not going to continue using the word, and everyone that comes to him before or after that are still going to view him as someone articulate and well thought out. So I think they do have this mindset that like, oh, you're going to get canceled and people are going to check out and no one's going to listen to anything you say. And I don't think it's that binary. I think maybe a couple people might not like that, but like in the grand scheme of things, he's still going to be a very popular articulator of his views.
Yes, however, I do think the Daily Wire has a tendency of primarily making content dunking on the libs.
Yes.
And I don't know if that persuades as much as it dunks on the libs and makes gay content and makes lots of money.
I don't think they're trying to persuade, though. So
I think he would say he is trying to persuade.
I don't think the Daily Wire is trying to persuade. I think maybe the individual hosts have their own ideas of what they believe they're doing, but I don't think the grand scheme of thing is like, let's monetize people that aren't sure about our worldview.
Not monetize. No, not monetize. I think in a grand scheme, if we're talking cultural persuasion, that is what they're attempting to do.
Yeah.
And I think this could, for some people, get in the way. Now, to Steelman, Michael's position, I don't know if you're persuading anybody that's going to be offended by you using that term.
True. There's probably going to be people that are like, oh, I've been so scared of what I'm saying, maybe not necessarily saying gay, but like I've been so worried about what I'm saying, and listening to this guy use a derogatory term that I think would otherwise be cancelable gives me hope that maybe there's a worldview that provides freedom, even if I disagree with that usage of the word. So separating church from state here for a second, he could be providing light into this worldview that allows freedom of speech, and which people will actually be convinced to be like, okay, I'm with the right now because they actually support these things and stand by it. As a Christian, though, everything you're saying I think is accurate. It's like, all right, are we going to use that term in a way that we're calling people lame? I think is pretty.
Knowles and other Daily Wire hosts are not persuading, just collecting more audience, trying to steal the middle laners.
Definitely the middle laners.
So, Mutt, you think, is that Mutt or Matt? Mutt? Do you think the middle laners are being persuaded in their attempt to steal the middle laners to a more conservative position? That would be my question.
I think so. Because I think that even in this scenario, they see someone that's more, they're having fun.
Yeah.
Like they're laughing, whereas everyone else is so serious and like not having a good time. Okay, here's the actual top comment. Your reaction to Knowles saying gay was super gay. 1,000 likes. The way Jack got so offended by a word is really gay. The way they reacted to Michael saying gay was indeed gay. It was like, bro, so their audience just ate it up.
Yeah. So I think that was them walking into a silly trap, trying to make it more serious than it was. If he said it 3 times, if he was saying it like all the time,
it'd be a little obnoxious. Yeah. Anyways, very interesting.
All right, let me know what you think about that in the comments section. And it would be remiss of me to not tell you about our biggest sale of the year, our Father's Day sale happening right now. You can get our brand new Bless God Prayer Journal at the cheapest price it's ever been, as well as some pretty fire priest, provider, protector launch that's perfect for the husband, the father, or the mentor in your life. So go to blessgod.shop and pick up something right now. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.